G'day, I'm Dr. John Hornbuckle from CSIRO Sustainable Agricultural Flagship in Griffith, New South Wales. Today we're here to talk about the performance of pressurised irrigation systems and specifically to introduce you to a tool known as the DU calculator. This tool was developed in conjunction with CSIRO and the Grape and Wine Research and Development Corporation to help irrigators assess the performance of the pressurised irrigation system and look at potential ways of being able to improve that. The performance of your irrigation system and the uniformity of the application of your irrigation system can often have a big impact on your yield and the final return off your vineyard. Today, what we'd like to do is to step through a series of in-field measurements to understand the performance of your system, and then also look at some online tools which will provide you with automated information on the potential performance of your irrigation system. Okay, so the first tool you need in order to collect the information is a simple tape measure. What we want to do is to measure the spacing between our drip emitters, which we can use to work out our application rate. So you can see for these particular emitters, they're at a 60 centimetre spacing. So we'll record that information, which will be entered online within our notebook. The second measurement information that we need to record is the spacing between our plants. Again, we'll do that with a simple tape measure. These ones are at 1.6 metres. After that, the final measurement we need to take with our tape measure is the row spacing. So we do that between rows. .6 metres, and we'll record that within our notebook. That's it for that one. Okay, corner points of our vineyard are just a simple measurement, again undertaken with the GPS. We just want to record the latitude and longitude of each one of the corner points of the block so we can get the outlying boundaries, which are used for information in the net. Simple matter, whatever you want to define as your corner points, just take a GPS reading there, note it down within your notebook. Okay, after we've taken those basic measurements, what we now need to do is to measure the application rate of our systems. To do that, what we want is a simple container to be able to collect the water which drips out from the irrigation system, and secondly, some way to be able to measure that volume of water. These are just small measuring cylinders which are available from CSIRO that includes information on the online DU tool as well and how to undertake sampling. Once we've got this particular vial, it's a simple matter of actually measuring the drip application rate for 30 seconds to a minute, and then recording that information and the volume which goes out of the irrigation system. Once we've done that, the other key component that we need is to measure the GPS location within the vineyard of where we've undertaken that measurement. You can use a number of different GPS platforms. You might have an outdoor GPS which you can use to measure your lat long. You might have a smartphone app which has a GPS on it, which you can use to get that latitude and longitude information, and then it can simply be recorded. Even an individual car GPS, such as a Navman, etc., can be used as well. So once we've got that information collected from a series of points across the vineyard, we'll then go back into the lab and enter that information, and we'll generate a map of water application across the whole vineyard so we can have a look at how well our irrigation system is performing. Well, welcome back from the field. Now that we've taken the measurements within field of the application rates with our little measuring cylinders and recorded our GPS positions of those particular places where we've recorded the DU measurements and also the corner blocks of our boundaries, what we now need to do is to go to the Irrigateway website and enter that information, where an automatic report will be generated along with a series of maps which actually map water application across your block. What we'd like to do now is to have a look at that website, and I'll take you through step by step of entering that information. So how we do that, we just go to www.irrigateway.net. From that website there'll be a tools menu, and we'll click on the dripper uniformity. That'll take us to a page which includes information about how to collect information for the DU calculator, and also examples of using the tool. So there's a how-to which will basically step you through the process which we've gone through on this short video introduction of taking block corner points, where we can either get them off Google Earth or with a handheld GPS, as well as measuring application rates spread throughout the particular irrigated field that you're interested in. So once we've collected that information, the main page we want to go to is the DU calculator. What that looks like, it's just a online calculator that has 3 steps which records information. The first step includes basic block information, which is used to identify your particular block and record information on row spacings and configurations. The second step is your block corner points, which are measured just with your GPS. They're inputted just as a simple text box, and then your flow rate points. And again, includes the GPS for where that particular flow measurement is taken, and then a GPS reading associated with it. So what we'll do now, we'll just step through entering that information in a very basic format, and then we can have a look at the information which is auto-generated from the online calculator and how you may go about using it in order to assess the performance of your irrigation system. So if we just do a demonstration here, we'll just make up a couple of fictitious names that we can use. So we'll call this one Mike Tyson. We'll give him a mobile phone contact number. We use that in case there's any issues which we need to contact you in the automation. And then secondly, an email address. The email address is important to get right because that's where the automated PDF generated report, which includes your calculations of your DU, is sent to. We then go on to record some basic block details. So we have a particular name for the block. We might call this one House Vineyard. We have an approximate area of the block which we enter. We then have a crop name that we enter, as well as a variety. So for this one we'll call it Semillon and a particular location. So for this location we'll use Griffith in New South Wales as an example. What we also do, we need to enter in a row spacing, an emitter spacing and a plant spacing, which is measured in field just through a simple tape measure which we demonstrated earlier in the video. So our row spacing for this particular case, we'll just put in 3.6 metres, emitter spacings at 0.6 metres and a plant spacing at 1.6 metres. There's 2 optional features which we can use to generate a nitrogen application map over the vineyard or the particular irrigated field, and also a seasonal water applied through the irrigation system as well. So if you wish to choose those, we just highlight these 2 tick boxes, and we require 3 more sources of information. So that's just a target nitrogen application that's supplied through the fertigation strategy. So for example, over the season it might be 40 kilograms per hectare, and then a design flow rate that's associated with for your particular case. That information is then used with the measured water application which we've done, and we'll create a variable map of what's actually been applied through your fertigation in terms of the nitrogen. The seasonal water use is most interesting. What it does is uses the information but works out how long you've actually run your irrigation system for over the season, and then creates a total water applied over the irrigation season in megalitres per hectare. So you can really have a look at the difference in water applied across a particular vineyard block. So once you've entered that information, we then save it. It's saved online into a database. That block information will come back and will say that it's saved, and then asked to move on to step 2. Step 2 is recording the block corners or the coordinates. It's just a simple matter of entering the longitude and latitude just through a text box interface which is available here. So for this particular example, we'll just copy the demonstration, which we can do just with a tick box. With our own measurements, we just basically enter them directly into this interface. Once we've done that, we save corner coordinates, and again we'll get a information telling us that's been successful and asks us to move on to step 3. In step 3, what we're actually doing is entering the information, the GPS coordinates, and also the application rates which we've measured. So we've got a longitude and a latitude, and then the measurement that we've actually measured within field, and that's in millilitres per minute from each one of the emitters. So again, we'd enter those directly from what we've measured in the field, and then for this particular example, we'll just click this checkbox and move these into here so we can calculate an example file. Once we've done that, we click Save Flow Rate Points. It'll be saved onto the server. So now what we've got from each one of those three previous steps is all the information we need to auto-generate the report and undertake the DU calculations. So what we lastly need to do is click Generate Map Image, and what we'll do is then get a response that says you've been successful in submitting it. It will then go back to our servers within CSIRO. Automatic calculations will be undertaken on the information you've entered, and then a PDF report will be generated and emailed back to that email address that you've had there. So it generally takes between about anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes for those reports to be generated automatically, and then they'll be emailed directly back to you. To give you an example of what the PDF file looks like, this is just a basic one here. It'll just have a PDF which can be opened in Adobe or any PDF viewer. This one for Mike Tyson has been generated previously. It'll give you your application rate measurements. You can see for this particular example, they've measured 20 points across the field, some basic information on the particular irrigated crop, and a calculated DU. Importantly, what will be incorporated within that is a map of the variability of your application rates across the paddock. So this is a particular map in this case. What I'd like to do now is to just take you through some examples of the application rate maps, the seasonal water use maps, and also the nitrogen applied maps, which you'll get back within these reports. For this particular case, the irrigation design layout has a supply main which runs down here, shown in a thick green line, and then laterals run 300 metres down the vineyard. What you can automatically see is at the end of these laterals we're having probably some issues with either emitter clogging or with pressure issues. So we've got lower application rates which are applied at the end of the laterals compared to the upstream supply line. So ranging from 3.2 to 5.4 litres per hour per vine. But what does that actually mean for your irrigation crop? Well, I think one of the best ways to assess that is to actually have a look at a seasonal water use in terms of the amount applied. So if we look at total water use that's been applied through the irrigation system over the season, which will be generated within those reports if you put your seasonal runtime in minutes on there, you can see we actually get quite a variation over the block. So at these supply ends, we're up at 4.7 megalitres per hectare, and down at the ends of the drip laterals, we're down at 2.7 megalitres per hectare. So over the season, between these low points and these high points, we have a 2 megalitre per hectare difference in the amount of water applied. And for most of the guys that are irrigating, they'll know that a 2 megalitre per hectare difference can contribute to quite a significant yield difference. So that's also combined, particularly if you're fertigating. There's also a variation in nitrogen which is applied due to that poor DU performance. So what you'll see in that particular case, there was a target of about 20 kilograms per hectare, which was to be applied to each one of to this particular vineyard. You can see that ranged from 15 kilograms per hectare in the low application rate areas of the system up to 26 kilograms per hectare in the high application rates. So that combination of a difference in applied water and also a difference in applied nitrogen obviously can have a big effect on your particular crop. So if we have a look at one of the measurements of trying to assess that, one of the things we can use is satellite remote sensing and things like NDVI, or Normalised Difference Vegetation Index. You may be familiar with vegetative type maps, etc., which you've seen of your particular blocks. So this is just to show you that information and the effect that the irrigation system performance is actually having within that crop. So again, same 12 hectare vineyard. Again, if we have a look at our main line, which goes down here, we've got a DU of 85%, an average application of 4.4 litres per hour per vine, but you can see that varies quite significantly, and about a 2 megalitre per hectare difference over over the total irrigation season between these high ends and these low ends. This image here just simply shows NDVI, which is a measure of that vegetation which is there and the density of it, and you can see that there's a very strong correlation between high areas of vegetative growth and low areas of vegetative growth as measured through the NDVI, indicating that irrigation system is having an effect on that crop performance. So that's the DU calculator, which is available online at irrigateway.net. It's been developed by the Grape and Wine Research and Development Corporation, by CSIRO, Vic DPI. If you've got any further questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. There's contact details available on the Irrigateway website. If you need information in terms of measuring instruments, or if you need simple vials to actually be able to measure the applied amount of water through your drip system, please feel free to contact us. Till next time.